Welcome back, and we shift focus now to the Indian markets as far as silver and the gold prices go and the markets therein. I'm joined by Kishor Runwal, he's Managing Director at Anmol Jewellers, and Ashish Pethe is partner at Waman Hari Pethe. Gentlemen, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And Ashish, I'll go to you first. And as Philip was saying, that every decline in gold prices is going to be short-lived, and there is buying not just from the central banks but from institutions, HNIs. The online buying also has been quite supportive. For the Indian markets, with the kind of prices that we're looking at, where do you see on who really is buying right now?
Good evening. Actually, we were all seeing that about 2300 is the target for this year, and everyone has been making the same noise. But suddenly we are looking at 2440 and sitting pretty above 2400. So most of the audience, I would say, investors as well as consumers, are a little perplexed. Yes, the institutions, the banks, China, everyone is buying. But in the domestic market, the retail consumer has taken a pause. I think till about 72,000, the retail customer was buying. But once it went beyond 74,000, there had been a lull at the ground level. Maybe because it's results time or maybe the weddings are less this year. But we'll actually know who is actually buying in the domestic market once the season comes in around August, where the Ganesh Chaturthi and everything starts. So as of today, I think it's the institutions that are buying. The end consumer and investors are not currently buying.
All right, so not too many people buying gold within the Indian markets there. One, there are no festivals, and two, the wedding season are lesser this time around. But Ashish, even if one was to step out, I mean, this is something that I've been hearing from the market, that with the kind of volatile and high gold prices that we have, gold perhaps is selling at a discount in the Indian markets. Is that the case?
Yes, it is selling at a discount. That is always the case. When either the price goes down, people sell at a slight premium, and when the prices run away, it's always sold at a discount because people are sitting on stocks which are at a lower price. They're bought at a lower price. But I think it's a natural phenomenon. It will settle down in 10-15 days, and we should be on par.
Okay. And Mr. Pethe, also, what is your sense on people cashing out at these levels? Is that happening in big numbers, or that is something that Indians are also holding back on?
Right. I remember 2-3 months back, I was talking to you and I said that at around 70,000, there are no people who are rushing in to sell. That was a peculiar phenomenon that we saw in this last rally. But since it has gone beyond 73, 74, we are seeing some kind of selling in the retail level. Not a very huge selling, but yes, some kind of selling has come in the market. People are coming to sell their old gold and old jewelry, and trying to probably cash in the all-time highs that we are seeing. But it is nominal, not too much.
All right, there's a rise for sure, but not too much. People are not rushing out, making queues to sell their old gold and jewelry there. Mr. Runwal, this question is to you. Let's talk about silver then. And there has been this sudden jump in silver, but that also is always the case because gold is this heavy, hefty commodity, and then silver is a smaller one. And we always see more volatile moves come in for silver. But at these current levels, first of all, your sense on prices, where do you think it's going?
Thank you, Manisha. We have heard about Mr. Philip and Mr. Michael, who has given their opinion. But seeing that today silver looks like a black horse, which is running faster than the gold. Silver is nearly touched 26% high in this month, up to this May, if you see. And gold is somewhere touched to 17%. So silver is running very high. It is catching up the speed. And the experience of so many years, if I see, this wave is not just the end, but it looks in somewhere in the middle. So we may see a much higher rate in coming days. So I think silver will go higher than 1 lakh. It should cross more than 1 lakh in coming days.
Okay. Since you mentioned about Michael, and he did say, Mr. Runwal, that these are perhaps half of where the prices could really go going forward. I mean, even if you look at it with that kind of a view, are you looking at a 35 and a 40 and those kind of prices coming in for silver?
See, as we understand and the study reads, it says that there is a global demand in the manufacturing sector for silver, and also the coming interest rates, which may go down to back in 2 quarters. So we see that this will give more strength for the speed of the silver to go up, and 35 this year, maybe a little fall, correction, again a bounce, correction, bounce. So we may, it may be a possibility that we may touch 35. It is not that, I don't think we may not touch. It may touch 35 in coming days.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing is not possible anymore. The kind of run-up that we've seen in gold and silver prices, even copper for that matter, these are levels that people don't shy back on in sense of where the prices can go. So if you think that $35 on the higher side is a resistance, where do you see a support? Because as you said, it's going to be volatile. It will see its corrections as well. So where do you see the support coming in?
Coming in money-wise, if I see now 1 lakh, if we touch 1 lakh, it is already 96,000 in the Indian markets today. So if on the first correction I see at the 1 lakh level, we will see a good selling coming in the Indian markets.
Okay.
The next, if we sustain 1 lakh and we cross 1 lakh, then 1 lakh 10,000 is what I assume that it may touch in the Indian value report, if you see.
And as is the case, as I was talking to Mr. Pethe, do you see that happen in silver? Do you see people coming to the markets to sell old silver, family silver, to encash in these kind of prices?
Actually, the Indians, I think they are still waiting for the prices to jump higher. They are waiting for the silver to cross 1 lakh. And when 1 lakh it touches, I think you will get a good selling silver in the market. People will come out to sell it to gain their profits, no doubt about it. But parallelly, you will see again a little portion of new investors also coming at higher rate, assuming that silver will touch more high.
All right. So this is something that I want to ask both of you. And Mr. Pethe, I'll come to you first. As we've seen prices gain, there are various newer ways now of owning these precious metals. Physical, of course, continues to be and will perhaps be the largest way of owning gold. But with the way we've seen gold bonds and digital gold and gold ETFs, I mean, all of these numbers and avenues have done quite well too. With the younger generation, as we move more into a 24/7 kind of a market, do you see these avenues grow higher?
Yes, the other avenues have been growing higher, but surprisingly, the speed of other avenues growing has not been as much as I was expecting myself personally. So still the bond and the physical gold are still ruling the roost. I think they are still preferred even by the younger generations. If at all, they are going towards the digital gold, where all the online people are offering. So that's where I am seeing some kind of traction. But otherwise, it is the bonds and physical gold where I think the maximum buying is happening.
Okay. Also, Mr. Pethe, what's your sense on the prices from here on? What is the range that you're working with for the rest of this year?
Right. 2440 all-time high. I think these levels are everyone, especially jewelers, have to be very, very careful now. I think we have run up quite a lot. So I see a top side of 5% or 6% more. But there is quite a strong possibility of 7-8% correction from this level also. So I think that's the point. This is the point where jewelers have to be careful and have to look at their hedging positions, going into the market, and also at the time of the season coming in, they have to be very careful.
Oh, well, absolutely. With the kind of volatile moves that we are seeing, consumers is one part of this market, but industry definitely the other very stronger part, because with the kind of volatile moves, the hedging positions, the kind of inventories that they have to hold is going to be quite unmanageable there. But this one is to you, Mr. Runwal. So what is your sense of the various ways of owning silver? What is your sense on what kind of buying would we see? This is a very standard of 700 to 800 tons of gold coming in, 5,000 to 6,000 tons of silver being imported into the country. But are you looking at that kind of a demand continuing with these current prices?
See, as I told you before, that every hike, if the market is stable, this year we are going to cross 6,000 to 7,000 tons of silver. But if the silver rates are going high, then you will see a correction. The markets will go very slow in case of investment type and physical buying. in articles and silver jewelry, but the global demand for the industrial for the silver is not going to go down, because as the global economy is booming, we will see that silver at that point, which is 40% of the purchase of silver in the whole world. Silver will have its better stand in getting sold in the industrial belt. But as prices go up, if the rates are stable, the only problem is the every inch what we see every week, if there is a surge, if there is a rise, the silver demands is surely going to go down in physical markets.
Okay. So higher prices is something that the Indians don't mind, but it is the volatility which is perhaps keeping them on the sidelines. Once that is sorted, you will see buyers come back into the market. And of course, as and when we go ahead, the wedding and the festival season begins is when you will see Indians coming in and buying. Mr. Pethe and Mr. Runwal, thank you so much for joining us with that sense. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.